What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn states that Anthony Joshua is still the #1 heavyweight in the world. And he goes on to say that he feels like arguably Tyson Fury is, and Fury and Wilder are fighting for the #1 slot because Tyson Fury, he feels, beats Deontay Wilder last December. And Joshua's still #1, but he has to show that he's #1 by getting his belts back. So he just lost his belts, but that doesn't stop him from being #1, he feels. Look, the belts are second to the best. He lost the belts because he lost. That's the main focus, his loss. Who did he lose to? Andy Ruiz. By my counterpunching standards, Ruiz should be #1. The only way Ruiz doesn't become #1 is Anthony Joshua beats him, okay? Then, if he beats him, Joshua will go back to being #1, replaced by Ruiz, which is #1 now. And then then whoever fights Joshua or beats Joshua becomes #1. Doesn't matter where you were. See, a lot of people thinking, well, Ruiz was really, 15th, whatever. It doesn't matter the rankings. It matters on who you beat. You knock that person off that totem pole, you're on that top. You know what I'm saying? And he was at the top of the totem pole. Even by Ring Magazine standards. You had Anthony Joshua, then Tyson Fury, then Deontay Wilder. Even after the fight from Wilder and Fury, they bumped Tyson Fury up. So they even thought that Fury won. You know, but he's still #2, though. Just because Anthony Joshua falls doesn't mean, to me, this is my opinion, doesn't mean that these guys automatically go up. Well, what happened to the guy that beat Joshua? Where the hell does he go? You see what I'm saying? No, he goes in the place of the person that he beat. He beat the #1 guy. He fought the #1 guy. Then, by default, he got all the money because the #1 guy happened to be the highest grossing guy. Now, if Eddie Hearn meant that, that's totally different. Like, okay, if he's still the hottest draw, yeah, that's true. You know, the most talked about fighter, yeah, that's true too. You know what I'm saying? You can tell when people watch things. Why do you think everyone has an opinion? Sure, it was a great upset, but people talk more about Anthony Joshua's loss than we talk about Deontay Wilder's last win. And that shit went viral for a while. People are not really talking about that no more, though. Right? So what Joshua, his loss overshadowed Deontay Wilder's wins. And that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are still talking about that shit. And that shit's 22 years old, 22 days old now. Right? So, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. But Eddie, no. Joshua's not the #1 heavyweight. No. From his standards, thinking, oh, from the rankings. No, he's not. You know, Joshua has to redeem himself to show that was just a bad night or off night. You know what I'm saying? But the guys that he needs to deal with Ruiz so he can become #1. But as of now, Ruiz is #1, Tyson Fury #2, Deontay Wilder 3. You can throw Joshua in there anywhere you feel fit after that, right? But he's nowhere near the 3 anymore. You see what I'm saying? Because if that's the case, that means you beat Joshua and then he goes to what? Where is he going to go? I would look at trading places to wherever Ruiz was until he has a rematch clause since he was #1 to show, hey, I want my #1 spot back. But as of now, he was where Ruiz was before he fought Joshua. That's how I take that, But, this is expected from Eddie Hearn, saying that he's #1, he's still #1. You know what I mean? Probably #1 in his book, #1 earnings, sure, but #1 as rankings of heavyweight rankings, no, absolutely not. Ruiz is #1 to me, but I'm looking at this. He puts Dillian White in there, but it makes sense for him to put Dillian White in there. He's managing Dillian White, or he's promoting Dillian White, right? So he says that certainly feel like the best 4 heavyweights in the world are Joshua, Dillian White, Fury, and Wilder. He said, but now you've got to think about Ruiz and you've got to think about Usyk. Okay? And then Parker. See, here's the thing. The good thing about the loss to Joshua's loss, Joshua beat the guy that beat Ruiz. You know what I'm saying? And that alone, guys, proves triangle theories do not work. Styles make fights. Please scream that to a casual before they start running their mouth about the other heavyweights beating Joshua. You know what I'm saying? And all that. Or beating Ruiz in that fact. Oh, well, that's how they're gonna do what they're gonna do. These two got to tango, and then we have to see the result from them tangoing, mixing it up, getting it on. You know what I mean? But yeah, Usyk has to prove himself at heavyweight. Simple as that. He has to prove himself to be in that category. You know what I'm saying? Now let's say Usyk if Ruiz beats Joshua again in the rematch, then Usyk beats Ruiz. He becomes number 1. Bottom line. Right? And until someone fights for that number 1 spot, if they fight whoever was at number 1, or Joshua, if he gets it back, and then he beats Usyk or whatever, when they fight him, they still have to fight to be number 1. You can't fight or avoid number 1 or pretend or freeze out and act like this person doesn't exist and claim yourself number 1. That's just like someone like Game of Thrones. I'm king of the North. I'm king of this. And it's funny, like Tywin Lannister said, if you have to scream, I'm a king, you're no king. You know what I'm saying? You just got to know where you are. But how do you know it? You have to show it. Okay? You have to get your ass in the ring and fight the best. Then you will know that you're number 1. But he is right about Parker. You have to fit Parker in there somewhere now. Because, Parker did lose to Dillian White, but he did come back strong. You know what I'm saying? And he was victorious in his last fight. And he's still a force to be reckoned with. And of course, now, since Ruiz, he's lost a split decision, Parker has beaten Ruiz. Ruiz has that 1 loss on his record. Now, what do you think? Now, I know Parker will never fight Fury, but what would you look at like a fight between Parker and Wilder now? You know what I'm saying? That would be a good fight. A lot of people, a lot of casuals. Again, these guys will look at it and say, well, no, Wilder would knock out Joshua. And you know what I mean? No, that has nothing to do with any of that. And even if Wilder fought Ruiz and knocked out Ruiz, does that necessarily mean he's going to do that to Parker? No, because Parker's smarter than that. And also, Parker's a fast guy. You see what I'm saying? Deontay Wilder got knocked out by a guy that same height. Also, people forget that. Amateurs. Okay? Don't believe me? Look it up. Like Deontay Wilder says, Google that shit. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Eddie Hearn stating that Anthony Joshua is still number 1 heavyweight. Of course, please subscribe. You guys been Counterpunch. Peace.